Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the purposeful convo I had with Adrian Starks in our last episode. If you haven't yet listened to that interview, feel free to pause this now, go back, listen to that one. I swear you're going to fucking love his voice. I promise you.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I said narrator. I want him to do those nighttime stories. He should do nighttime stories. I would fall asleep to him like reading the phone book. Absolutely wonderful. Adrian, that's a new job for you. So listen to his voice, then come back and join us and let me know what else he should narrate, because I'm just like, you can keep telling your story. It's great. It's a great voice.
I love it.
All right. So before we talk about Adrian, we just had the very first one-day workshop situation for people on one exercise.
On OPC.
And it was so fun because we did the workout, which is kind of like what we do on OPC. We do a workout.
Roll up on the mat.
It's roll up on the mat. That was the theme. So the workout was dedicated to that exercise.
Yeah, the replay just expired last night.
Yeah. So when I create OPC classes, well, actually, when any teacher creates an OPC class, we actually think about an exercise or a skill set you need in Pilates, and we thread that through the entire workout. And so that's what we're known for. And so the roll up can be a very annoying, frustrating exercise. And what we did was I created a workout that would actually help you understand the roll up better in your body by the end of the workout. Then we did a little digging in deep with our OPC teachers, and they shared like what they struggle with in the roll up and how they got around it, because everyone has a different body, everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. And then we did the class again.
Yeah.
Because at OPC, you actually repeat the same class throughout the week.
I thought it was cool that you did it a second time, because now you had the first experience, then you discussed things, and then you got a second shot at improving. So
and so anyways, people had a lot of fun with it. And so we're hoping to do another one later this year on a different exercise. You want to go to opc.me/workshops to get on the, what is it? A wait list.
Wait list for future workshops. Yeah, opc.me/workshops.
By the way, you might be thinking, oh, why get on a wait list? They'll just tell me about it later. No, here's why. Algorithms, you get busy, life changes, and also anyone on a wait list always either gets a special gift or a special discount, or something fun fucking happens to people on a wait list. Just so you know, people on the retreat wait list got a discount. So you just want to be on wait list because we like to give gifts.
Yeah. So, and also we're changing the way that our companies work. We are no longer going to be shouting from the rooftops on social, buy my stuff.
Yeah.
So what the people who are on our wait list will find out about the really cool things that we're offering now. Mm-hmm. So just be advised.
Yeah. And if you're on social, you have less of a chance of hearing about it. So that's all.
Yep.
Be one of the insiders. Okay. And OPC members, last week we told you there's something exciting coming up, and there's still something exciting coming up, and we're not telling you yet. I have no idea. This is
the longest tease.
I have no idea when Brad's going to let me tell you, but I've been spilling the beans to a few people.
Yeah.
So
we're FYI, there's something cool for OPC, for the OPC community.
If you don't know what it is, it means you were not at the live workout for March, and it also means you have not watched the end of the live workout for March. So now I know.
It's true.
And finally, at the time of this recording, we have a few spots left in round 3 of my mentorship for Elevate. I'm not going to go into too much detail here because you heard about it last week. You can also hear about it in other ways by going to lesleylogan.co/elevate, lesleylogan.co/elevate, because that's what we're about to do with your practice, your teaching, and your connection to the method. Oh, yeah. I call them my elevators.
I love it.
And because Brad is now into 4th bullets,
it's happening.
If you're wanting the chair stack and you didn't get it during the pre-sale, now is the time to get it, because
now is the time.
Otherwise you're not going to be part of the first rollout. And that means you have to wait. And if we've sold out, you have to wait even longer.
Yeah. So, I mean, the reality is we only place enough of an order for the people who have placed the order with a little bit of a buffer, and then it might sell out there. So we would love to include your order when we're printing everything in round 1.
Yeah, so go to OPC. So it's onlinepilatesclasses.com. If you're like, what the hell is an OPC? Hi, welcome to the podcast. I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
And OPC is Online
Thanks
Pilates.
so much for joining us today.
Adrian, sorry, that's all you get. No, onlinepilatesclasses.com is our baby, so go check it out. Okay, before we get into Adrian Stark's amazing voice and all of his amazing content, do we have an audience question to get to?
We do. And so basically, this is from an OPC member. We have a private Facebook group for the OPC community, and she said, I love the way you theme your workouts and connect exercises together. I really want to understand more about how you do that, how you conceptualize that.
Yeah, so actually, like we kind of just talked about it with the workshop.
We did.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
But also, like, that doesn't really help you figure out how to do it.
That's true.
So one of the things that I would love to tell you is the way I do that in less than a 15-minute recap, and I cannot. So the truth is that how I theme workouts together is because of how I was trained to see the method. And I was trained to see this method. Luckily, I had a lot of amazing teachers in my journey to hear where you're listening to me now. But one of those was Jay Grimes, Sandy Shimoda, who also was a partner.
We're still talking Pilates, the Pilates method.
Still talking about the Pilates method. Yeah. Thank you, Brad, for bringing in Tracy from Wisconsin. So my teacher, Jay Grimes, Sandy Shimoda, Karen Frischman, they really helped me take everything I knew and think like a solar system, like 9 planets, and actually see how they're all connected by the stars, right? So effectively, I hope that analogy makes sense. So at any rate, they really helped me put that together. And then since I was able to understand that, I put that into my own practice, my own teaching. And that's how OPC was created, because it was like, how do I make, first of all, the classical Pilates method unique every single week? I do the same mat order. Well, the same mat order, but it's an order on the mat and reformer. We just omit exercises that don't fit the theme or the time. But how do I do that? And so I started really honing that skill set in and really making it fun. And what you experience as an OPC member is it really connected. So you can take an exercise that you may not be able to do, or one that you struggle with or hate, and really understand it. So how do you do that yourself? I have to be completely honest and tell you need to be in my mentorship, because it's something that's going to take time, and I need to see where you're at in your understanding of the method and in your connection to the practice in your body and how you currently teach, and then help you get, you could be anywhere on the journey, and I need to make sure that we're on the same page. And then, because you might even be doing half of it already. Wouldn't that be amazing if I can go, actually, you're halfway there. Here's some things you could do. Right. Or, hi, that was 1,000 words to takes one exercise. So let's go over here. So I really love my Elevate mentorship for exactly this. It helps you see the method as like one exercise. You do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different ways, and allows you to teach everybody in front of you based on connecting them together, and also your own body. So if you want to know how I do this, basically the TLDR is sign up for Elevate.
Yeah, join Elevate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for asking that question.
Yeah, you can ask any question you want. It's maybe Pilates, guys. The last couple were Pilates related. It can actually be life, business, work, vacation, whatever. You just need to send it into us somewhere on the interwebs, not LinkedIn. I'm not over there, but someplace that I can actually find it, and we'll put it on here.
Stick around. Right after this, we're going to talk about how Adrian Starks shares the greatest journey is the journey inward.
Right after these messages, we'll be right back.
Okay, now let's talk about Adrian Starks. Adrian Starks is a man who decided to begin living on this planet for 3 reasons: to learn, to grow, and then to take action. He is fully living his purpose-driven life and inspires others to do the same as a speaker, narrator, entrepreneur, and writer.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump in first, because I really enjoyed his first step in discovering your purpose, because I just, we have all these people are like, what's my purpose? Why am I here on this planet? They're like walking around like thinking they don't know. And he said that here's what he said. I'm going to quote him. The greatest journey is the journey inward. And he said, you also have to acknowledge you don't know everything, but then start asking why. And we talked about like the 7 whys, like why this, why this, why this, like, why do I want to be a writer? Because this, why do I want to do that? Because this, why? And like, we talked about this before.
If you're trying to discover your purpose, right? Like, why are you here doing, what is it that you're supposed to be doing? Why are you here on this planet? Right. And when he started asking himself that, he realized he could help other people discover their own purpose, right? And so his pod is called Your Purposeful Life, right? And so anyway, in order for you to feel fulfilled and excited about, showing up for life, it really will change your excitement and enthusiasm about it if you find purpose in the thing that you're doing, right? So, it's so interesting to me because when I was younger, I was part of a coaching group, and one of the guys said to me, I don't care what it is I have to do. If I have to carry shit from one corner of the room to the other corner of the room and put it down, but after doing it for so many times, it's going to allow me to live, take care of my family the way I want to. I'm willing to do that thing. And I really adopted that. And I was like, oh, it doesn't matter if I fucking hate showing up for my job. I'm doing this because this is going to allow me to do the thing that I really would rather be doing, which is whatever, touring in music and doing all the band thing. And after doing that approach for decades, I decided I don't like that approach anymore because...
Oh, thank God. I was like, where is this going? I do not approve
I really
of this
don't
approach.
like it. I really don't like it because you know what? I ended up working at a shitty job, working with shitty people, and I told myself, I'm just going to stick it out because by doing this shitty job, I'm going to be setting myself up to go do something really amazing. And my thought is, listen, there are times in your life when you have to do stuff you don't want to do. Sure, I get that. But what if the thing you have to do, your job, you actually love? What if you find purpose in that thing? How amazing would that be? Can it be possible for them to be overlaying that you're living the life that you like, you're doing something that you love, and you're getting paid for it in a way that will empower you to go do the other things that you love to do? Then you can have so much more fun in life.
Yeah. I'm so glad that turned around. I was like...
You should have seen her face. If y'all are on YouTube, she's looking at me and her head's tilting to the side like the puppy dog. Is like, what are you doing?
Where is he going with this? Not to say that if you are shoveling shit that your job is without purpose, because the person who picks up our dog poop, I am sure feels very purposeful in what they chose to do for themselves, and I'm very grateful. So
but
if you're
that's
listening,
my point. Is like it wasn't fulfilling me. The things that I was doing, they weren't lighting my fire. They weren't something that I'm excited about, passionate about, like amazing at.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things. I was just doing them because I had a job opportunity and it could get me paid.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
Yeah. So, like, I love that. I'm really glad that you didn't adopt that. It's probably when we met, you probably stopped.
Yeah. Well, it was, I mean, I don't know. I think it was a combination of me leaving the music industry because I was betting on that to be the thing that got me out of the shit.
Yeah. And then you left I remember this. And you left the music thing and you're like, well, now I'm here.
Yeah. Now I'm just here.
I'm not playing music because like this isn't helping me play. So, it was definitely then.
Yeah. It was exactly when we met too. So there's that was 100% a part of it. But really, like, I thought, I'm going to sell 1 million records and I'm just going to go tour the world. And then all of a sudden when my band stopped, I was like, oh.
Yeah, and
what?
Like, so I worked retail. I really thought I was going to work in retail forever because I really loved the company I worked for. At the time, we sold the most amazing stuff, and it's not because I love to sell. My purpose on this planet was to help people sell. What I loved was helping people find the thing that made them leave the store with a smile on their face, or like they had the gift for someone. Like, I loved helping people. Like, people when you're shopping. Think about the last time you went shopping. Oftentimes you're shopping for it's like, what do they call it? Like retail therapy. And like they'd come in and then I'd help them find this thing that would like light them up or make them feel like themselves, or like jewelry is like an expression of them. And so I found purpose in that. Now I worked with a ton of people who were like, this is how I pay my bills. This is how I do. And I can tell you right now, it doesn't matter how amazing that salesperson was. They were never the number one salesperson. They're never the number one because they were just piling the shit from one corner to the other. So truly, like, whatever you're doing, try to figure out how it aligns with the purpose that you have on this life, or let's find a way to help you bridge the gap.
Yeah.
What did you love?
I love it. All right. So one thing he started talking about was how, now that you're asking why, why am I here? What do I love? Why do I like doing this? Why do I like doing that? And kind of going towards your purpose. He said, how you create, you need to create space and be purposeful. And the creating of the space allows you to be curious. Okay. And that curiosity really opened up the opportunity to make mistakes and to grow and learn and be better at what it is that we're doing. And again, dial in, hone in, being more purposeful in our life. And he actually gave a challenge. He said, be curious enough to make a mistake, because a lot of people are unwilling to take any risk, unwilling to make any mistakes. But he was giving this really great analogy about Babe Ruth, and it wasn't Mickey Mantle. He referenced somebody else.
Somebody else.
I can't remember now. But he said they actually had more strikeouts than they did home runs, even though they were the number they were top of the home run stats. Yes. But they failed so many times, right? And then I thought you asked a really great question of like, well, how do you set yourself up to be curious? And he said, by being alone. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Very interesting. So he figured out how to leave his mind the mental space to be curious by setting aside time for himself.
Yeah.
And
this is that right there is the problem most people have. They do not create space for new stuff. So it doesn't even matter if you know what your purpose is. If you have not created the time, I don't care if it's 15 minutes. I don't care if it's 2% of your day.
Yeah. Manuel.
If you don't do that, it doesn't, none of the stuff that we're telling you matters. None of it does. And too often I see people go, must be nice. I wish I could do this when I have more time. I'm telling you right now, you will never stop being the busyness that you are until you create the time for your purpose and until you start actually like owning that and protecting that. And it is going to require being alone. And I know my extroverts are like, man, don't be alone. But you, Brad, also, when you take time to go for a walk by yourself, you come up with so many ideas. But if you're like on phone calls all day, on their socials all the time, hang with people all the time,
listening to podcasts all day,
let things be silent, So anyways, I thought that was one of the most amazing answers. Loved it so fucking much.
Well, he shared a lot of his story about like school, middle school, high school, and being alone and working in the library and stuff. And it actually made me think about that time and also about my time in college when I was intentionally writing music all the time. And I had in my calendar, don't call Brad. Brad is writing, right? And I had intentional time to be creative, to be curious, to learn, to try new things, to flop at new songs, all that kind of stuff. And when I was in high school, I remember I always wanted to be part of like the group, but I remember actually like I would walk home, and it was like 30 minutes. But I would take different routes and I would explore and try new things. And, that curiosity, like, can I walk through this neighborhood to get to where I'm trying to go? That alone time, I didn't have I might have had a Discman in high school, but not really. So I didn't have something to distract me.
You're going to have to explain what a Discman is just in case somebody is a Gen Z listening to this. Hello.
If you were born in the 90s, you don't know what a Discman is because you never needed to use one. A Discman is a CD player that is portable. That's all.
Yeah. You know what you just made me think of? Remember when I left working for the fitness company, and I no longer had to commute from West Hollywood to the West Side, which is, by the way, 3 miles, y'all. But it
was like 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah. And in that 30 to 45 minutes, you could rarely get me on the phone. I literally just enjoyed. I had a Jeep with the top off, and even in the winter, I just blast the heat. And I drove through the streets of Beverly Hills, like Like, I mean, it was beautiful, picturesque, everything you see from a Clueless when she's walking in Clueless, like literally that. And then I went from just like driving from our house to the studio, which is 1 mile, and I could take these side streets. So I was there in 4 minutes,
right,
unless I hit this one stoplight, and then it was 7. But still, like no time at all. And I remember, and I'd come home, and you would have been working from home all day, and you're like ready to talk. And I'm like, I haven't been alone. And like, so we got rid of the Jeep so I could walk home.
Yeah.
I could walk home, and it was a 15 to 20 minute walk, depending on how fast I went. And it was the perfect time for my brain, for me to be alone, to think about things. And that's where I actually, going back to those 7 layers of why, the first time I could get all the way to number 7 was on a walk. Because I could actually like go and I could get past number 7 because I wasn't in my surroundings of our house or my work. I was like walking with the squirrels and all the stuff. So anyways, highly recommend get some time by yourself.
Yeah, I think that's great. And for you, especially, it's really a way for you to energize or re-energize.
Yeah.
And for me, I think like I actually really struggle with it because I have a hard time, like it's hard. The story that I've told myself about alone time and not doing anything is that I'm not being efficient and I'm wasting time. Mm-hmm. And I think that we need to combat that concept of I'm wasting time because the time, your brain needs space and like little distraction to be creative. And that creativity, that sparks curiosity, that allows you to come up with different ideas, and time after time, I've realized I fill every second of my day with, if I'm literally like doing the dishes, I'm also listening to a podcast, or maybe I've got a show on or something. Or if I'm going for a walk, I'm often, again, listening to a book or listening to a pod. And I don't leave myself time just to let my mind percolate,
Yeah.
And it's not wasting time. It's important.
No, it's important. And 2% of your day is enough time, which is 30 minutes.
Yes, 2%. All right, so finally, let's talk about those beit action items. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your convo with Adrian Starks?
I'm going first again. It's my show. All right, here we go. Get curious. Question people, question yourself. And I think when people think question people, question myself, it doesn't have to be antagonistic. It's just like, just because you have a thought doesn't make it a fact. So ask yourself like, why is that? What? Like question, you don't have to like question authority. You should, but you don't have to like be antagonistic. It's just like, if you've always done things one way, ask yourself if that's still serving you. Ask yourself if you'd be willing to try something different. Like really dive in deep on some of the habits you have, because if they're not serving you, it's time to get rid of them. And we got to get curious about that first to understand. You got to like test things out in the water. I love testing out my morning routine. I really do. So, the best way to test is like get out of your comfort zone and do something different.
Yeah, the do it respectfully part of it is something that I wanted to speak to because I was very antagonistic in my youth about questioning authority, and not in like I'm not like throwing rocks and starting fights kind of thing, but I would challenge authority intellectually.
You guys, he literally did every single assignment in college and never turned it in.
Yeah.
Let me just talk about like
I intentionally got the worst GPA you could possibly get. I failed every class.
But he went and he did all the work.
I went to all the classes. I wouldn't take the tests, but I would do all the papers and the homework, but I just wouldn't turn them in. So I had a really interesting, it was part of my ego, I think, too, for sure.
You think?
But the questioning people, questioning myself, questioning authority, that all of that really does roll into curiosity.
Well, there's a difference between being like curiosity is like being a detective versus like a judge.
Yeah, or being a dick about it, So yeah,
be a detective, not a dick. That's our new merch. I'm a detective, not a dick.
That's so funny. I love it. Oh, man.
Well, anyways,
we'll have to put that on I don't know what that goes on.
It's like a sticker. It's a sticker related. It's a bumper sticker for someone's car, but not mine. Because I don't put them on the car. But we can put it on the Yeti.
So funny.
You know how at the gym people write on the walls?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, some of them make me no pain, no gain. Sweat is just pain leaving the body. Like I'm just gonna put be a detective, not a dick.
I love that.
XXLL. Be it till you see it. Anyways, you guys, I think Adrian's episode was just full of so many amazing things. And so great. To sum it all up, get curious, question people, question yourself, and let us know how you enjoyed this. Let us know what parts of this really spoke to you and what you're going to do about it and how it's going to... Let us know if you
loved Adrian's voice.
And how it's going to help you have a purposeful life. And also you can listen to Adrian's voice for free on his podcast, wherever podcasts are, at Your Purposeful Life. And so he has some amazing guests that he puts out all of the time. He's so intentional.
And you were on there, right?
I was on there. We had a debate. We had great sweater action. We both showed up in a gray sweatshirt. It was really funny. I'm like, I'm going to wear a gray sweatshirt today. And I sit down. He's like, I had a feeling you'd wear a gray sweatshirt. I'm like,
you got the memo. Okay.
I don't even ever wear a gray sweatshirt on like normally I try to look good. Anyways, go listen to his podcast. You can start with my episode and see if you enjoyed the theme of his podcast, which I think you will if you enjoyed this episode. So until next time, be it till you see it, share this with a friend, and we'll hopefully see you around soon.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of As the Crows Fly Media.
It's written, produced, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell. Our associate producer is Amanda Frattarelli.
Kevin Perez at Disenyo handles all of our audio editing.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to our designer, Jairo Mandal, for creating all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and our digital producer, Jay Perdoso, for editing all the video each week so you can.
And to Angelina Herrico for transcribing each of our episodes so you can find them on our website. And finally, to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time.